Welcome to La Taverna Friuli Wines, the definitive podcast on wines from Friuli, Venezia Giulia. I'm your host, Wayne Young. Hey, Friuli wine fans, welcome back to La Taverna Friuli Wines. I'm Wayne Young. How's everybody doing? Summer has arrived. Welcome to summer. It's a hot one there on the East Coast in the United States, huh? Here in Friuli, it's been very nice, threatening some rain, but it's been a very mild beginning of summer after a wet and very challenging May and early June. Hopefully 2024 will be a great vintage. Today we have a wonderful conversation with a lovely lady, Anna Tercic from San Floriano in Collio. I really like the end of this conversation when we talk about how there's a new sense of togetherness and regional promotion amongst young winemakers in Friuli, Venezia Giulia. And that's exactly what we need here. So without further ado, let's get right into this conversation with Anna Tercic from the Tercic Winery in Collio. Obviously, one of the biggest problems that most people have in Italy with English is they understand, but they're really scared to talk. So you must be a little bit more courageous than the typical person.
Yes, but that's also because Italian is not my main language. My mother language, it's Slovenian, actually. So in my family, we all speak Slovenian within ourselves. And then in school we learn Italian and then also English.
Okay.
Actually, I had a lot of problems with English.
In school?
Yes. Because especially like in middle school, there was not so much effort from the professor to learn English. But then in high school, there was a very good professor, which at the time I really hated it because she was very strict. But now, thanks to her, I learned the basic.
Right.
And then I moved on, with the books. And then the more you speak, the easier it gets.
The easier it gets.
And then I had the chance to live with a British guy when I was doing my internship. Not an internship, a working experience when I was in Bordeaux. So when I was working all day with him, he gave me, the tips how to speak British English, and
which is the worst kind of English. It's terrible. They don't pronounce their R's, right? And they spell their words with extra letters that you don't need. No, I'm kidding.
I know. There are different type of English, different accent.
Exactly.
I am more used to, I think, American because of all the, movies and music and everything, so it is a little bit easier. Maybe.
Tell me about this experience in Bordeaux before we start talking about the winery.
Yeah.
But you did a work experience in Bordeaux in wine.
Yes, I worked in a winery in the region of the Two Lakes. I don't want to pronounce it in the Entre-deux-Mers.
Okay.
My French is not that good, so I didn't want to.
Mine is non-existent, so it's fine.
Okay. And yes, I worked there. It was actually a little bit a bigger winery, but that was still very interesting to understand how to work in a bigger environment with a lot of people, because my winery, we are just 3 of us. In the winery, just me and my dad, so it's very simple to how can I say, to organize yourself. Right, exactly. And in a bigger winery, you have to understand like what to do to maximize everything, and not lose time. So that was a very good thing, to really understand, okay, to do that first, I have to do before and organize pampa and everything.
Right.
But then also it was very interesting to learn how everything that they do, they speak with everyone in the cellar and, on the top level. So that was also something very interesting. And all the tasting that they were doing and how they communicate with each other and the opening mind, that was really interesting for me.
And not knowing French wasn't a problem for you?
No, actually, no. In Bordeaux, they are very open.
Okay.
I mean, my experience was that I had very young enologist, that he was like my tutor, I would say, the person I was communicating with. You know, when I had the questions or why are we doing this, why not that, why are you using that?
Okay.
And he was very young, so he was 41 at the time, so now he's 44. And so he worked a lot in Australia and New Zealand. So because of that, he was very open-minded
and also because of Australia and New Zealand, you speak English.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lucky
and
for you.
Yeah. And so, but his father spoke to me in French, which is why I learned a little bit, but not that much because I was there just for 3 months. So that's not enough.
So tell me about the winery, your winery, Tercic in Collio.
Yes,
Right.
yes. We are in the village called San Floriano del Collio, Steverjan in Slovenian language. And we are a family winery. My father and my mother started it in the 1993.
Okay.
So last year was 30 years anniversary. And I've been working for about 4 years now within the winery and with the communication and people. But I've been working 11 years now in the vineyard. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's.
And how old are you, Anna?
I'm 27. I will be very soon 28.
Okay.
Yes.
So 11 years that you've been working in the winery. So since you were 16, basically.
17 years. 17 years. Because now I will be 28 in next Monday. So
next Monday.
Yes, 3rd of June. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All
yes.
right.
So yeah. But yes, we are a family winery. For now, it's just me, my mom, and my dad that we are working on everything. I am mainly in the vineyard, but nowadays I'm a lot more traveling. You know, after COVID, people are requesting come here, present the winery, and because I know a little bit better English than my dad, he's like go, yeah,
go speak English with the American people,
yeah. No, he knows very well, but he's maybe a little bit shy, so he doesn't want to because maybe he has a stronger accent, so. He wants to be in the vineyard.
Yeah, and you're young. It's fun to travel when you're your age.
It is. I actually just came home from Copenhagen.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yes.
How did that go?
Very well. The city was really, really nice. People also. And they actually drink a lot of wine. I did not expect they are 5 million and they drink a lot of wine.
Good.
Yeah.
Hopefully a lot of your wine.
Yeah, a lot of Friulian wine.
And a lot of Friulian wine.
Yes,
That's good. Yes. That's super good.
Yeah. And so, yes, it was kind of a nice trip to see. And they were very open-minded, you know, even if they didn't know exactly about Ribolla or Friulano, our local grapes, they were very interested in discovering it. So it was nice.
Is that a market that you've been in for a while, or is that something new for your winery?
No, we started actually last year. So it was an event. Or every 2 years they do this event. So this year we also went, and it was very nice.
That I was speaking with Benjamin Zidarich, who said he was going to Copenhagen.
Oh,
so
really?
He must have been with you.
No, with me there was Nicola Ermacora from Ermacora Wineries,
who also speaks English really well.
Yes, he does. I actually was very fortunate that he came with me because they canceled my flight to Venice, and and I had to buy another ticket to go to Bergamo, and he was flying from Bergamo, so I was very lucky that I could return home with him.
And so did he drive you home from Bergamo?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Lucky.
Yes, very lucky.
Very lucky. Otherwise, it would have been a bus or a train.
A train, which would take like 6 hours.
Yeah. It would have been. It's better that you were there with Nicola.
Yeah.
A very chivalrous guy to give you a ride home. Good for him. Shout out to Nicola Ermacora for making sure you get home safe.
Yes.
Cool. So how much wine do you guys make? I mean, obviously, if you're small and a 3-person operation, we're not talking 100,000 bottles.
No. We have 10 hectares.
Okay.
More precisely.
It's pretty big, though. 10 hectares for 3 people. That's not a little bit.
Yeah, more precisely, it's 9.5 hectares, but we're running out to 10.
Yeah.
And we produce 30,000 bottles every year. Yeah.
All right.
The good thing is that we have 14 plots, all on 10 hectares. So it's a lot of work, to move with the tractor and with your workers, especially during vintage time. But the good thing is that you have different expositions, different type of soil, and also different age of the vines of the vineyard. So that's very interesting, when you are making wine, to see that example that plot is very good for Ribolla, but it's not good maybe for Pinot Grigio or Sauvignon.
Okay.
So that is the good thing. It is a lot of work, but we are now kind of used to it. So we are more like it's a good thing. So that you have all of this.
How big is each plot, more or less?
Well, the smallest one is just 3,000 meters.
Okay.
Yes.
You said 14.
Yeah.
So 14, 10 hectares divided by 14, that's less than a hectare for each plot.
Yes, exactly. Yes. The biggest one, it's actually not the nearest to the cellar, but like 1 kilometer from the cellar. So that's the biggest one that we have, the Ribolla and Pinot Grigio there. But we have it located in San Floriano, Steverjan, but we also have something in the Isonzo, DOC, which is on the flatland near Lucinico and Farra. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We have divided in 2 areas. So 14 plots in San Floriano and in the flatland. So both of these areas make 14 plots. Okay. Yes.
So is there a big difference in working in a place like Isonzo rather than working up in San Floriano?
Well, in the Isonzo area, it's everything easier because it's everything flat.
Okay.
So it's very easy to go there. And even if some hours before it rained, the next hour it is almost dry. So that's perfect for working. But I'm more used to work in the Collio area because we live there. Me and my family live just 100 meters above the cellar. So I'm used to, walking up with the hills and the forests and the vineyard. In the flatland, I think it's just easier to work. But and it is a different soil. So they need a different maintenance of the vineyard, if I can say like that.
Sure.
And so, yes, I would say that those are the difference. An example, in the Collio area in San Floriano, for every summer, when it's near harvest time, we have to close with the electric fence. Otherwise, we have problems with wild boars or the deers. They come and eat, the grapes.
Of course. Yeah, a lot of people are complaining about problems like that.
Yes. In the last 3 years, it is a little bit less. So at least we don't have so much problems, but still we have to close everything. Otherwise they will just they will enter and eat everything. So
wow. Okay.
And that problem, you don't have it in the flatland. That's one thing, that the hills have these problems and the flatland does not have them. Yeah.
And your dad's sort of entry into the world of wine, was that something very new, or was that something that sort of carried over from a previous generation, or how did that all kind of start back in 1993?
So my family, the Tercic family, is living in Steverjan for about 300 years now.
Okay.
We always, the first male, born from the Tercic, we lived in San Floriano. And for what can I say, in about 100 years, we always worked the vineyard. So we always have land. But my grandfather, which is the father of my father, he worked the vineyards, but he sold the grapes to the big wineries in Cormons back in the 70s and 80s. And he primarily loved the animals. So he had the cows, for milk and little cows for the meat. I don't know how to explain that.
Like veal to make veal, calves.
Yeah. But he really loved animals. But in the 90s, I think there was this, or you would have more than like 50 cows, otherwise you would not go on, with the business, or you would stop.
Okay.
And that's not just my case of my family. There were actually other families who had this, they had to choose, or they go on with the animals, or they go on with the vineyards.
So you needed sort of like a big quantity of animals to make enough milk for it to be sort of financially viable.
Yes, because otherwise it was there was a lot of work and not so much money and everything. And we did not have the space, for the cows. And so my dad decided that he wanted to make his own wine, his own labels. So he started in the 93. He started with the Pinot Grigio and Chardonnay, which we still have the vineyards from where he was producing it.
Okay.
And then slowly he started adding like Ribolla, Sauvignon, Merlot, and lastly Friulano.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and were you always wanting to go and work in the winery, or did you have other ideas when you were younger?
So I was born in this family, so the harvest was always every year. So I was very happy when was the harvest period, because my family, it is a big family. I mean, the cousins and the third cousins. So we were kind of big family. And in the first years, when all of these cousins of my father had the children, they were all coming together to harvest.
Okay.
And so all of our kids were together. And so we were like harvesting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we were more
harvesting
like
and playing.
Playing, exactly. So that was very nice, but still it gave me the idea that it is a nice time of the year where you gather together and you play with your cousins that maybe you don't see so much. And then when I was growing up, I remember I was 17 when I started working in the vineyards with my grandmother, because my grandmother, she's now 83 and she's still working with me in the vineyard.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Love it.
And so I remember I went to see her in the vineyard in the summer to bring her some water and something to eat. And I asked, like, Grandma, what are you doing, And she was just explaining that she was selecting the shoots,
Okay.
And she said, you should try. And I said, okay. And then I just tried, and I really much enjoyed how the vines was then very clean, and everything was in order, and you have maybe a little bit less, but the one that really remained, they were growing very like stronger and more healthier. So then I just started going every day with her.
Fantastic.
in the vineyard, and then every summer I work with her and some other workers. And then slowly I was really every summer with her, not in the winter because I was still in school, high school. So this is how I started. Before that, I wanted to be a lawyer, but then I understood that was not for me.
Okay. What made you understand that?
Because you had to be, in a closed environment, and you have to be in a lot of papers, and you have to deal with a lot of problems. And I understood that was not for me.
Okay.
I liked when there was justice, to make that, if someone had done something wrong, that there was justice for the other person.
Okay.
But I understand that was not my war, if I can say, in this way. So I much more enjoyed being on outside and see actually how the life is of the vine, because you see, this is, I think, the beauty of our work, that in the winter there is no life, and then in spring the gems start to open, and there are shoots, and you see all the process of how life is coming to life,
Right.
And when you see that, I think every year it is a beauty in that, because you see how life is created. So, and how life will not stop, For an example, last year we had hail, very, very bad hail. And still the vine succeeded in maturing the grapes. So, and I think from that you can always learn something new, that you should not stop when the problems arrive.
Okay.
But you should just be like the vine, that she will push through and then come to the grape maturation.
So it's very, very philosophical.
Because of philosophy, I actually was in in Italy, it's the Liceo Classico.
Okay.
So it's like a classic studies.
Yeah, sure.
With Greek philosophy and Latin. And so maybe that was a little bit...
That's something that is, I think, sorely missing from American education. I think I was just on the tail end of that. Maybe there was a little bit of that type of education going on in high school. But I think it would be much better if we all learned a little bit of Greek philosophy and music and things like that we would consider classic, education, Liceo Classico.
Yes.
But now it's all sort of just geared towards, making sure you can use a keyboard well.
No.
So no. I don't think that's very useful. But I mean, so many times I've heard from people who work in the wine business, or especially in wineries, they say they can't not be in contact with the outside, with nature, with the vines, and be there. And even though it's hard, there's some sort of deeper connection that comes out of that. And obviously you felt that. Yes,
I felt it. I'm feeling it still now, because I every year, like, I wait for spring to come and to start, to see how life just comes.
Okay.
And I think now it's the most beautiful time, because when you walk inside the vineyard, you smell all of the flowering of the vines. And that's so good as a smell. And I've never smelled something so good. And there is not even one perfume or aroma that you can feel it like chemically done. So that is something that just we have, the one that has a vineyard. And when you walk there, it's just, I don't know, I cannot say breathtaking, but maybe, when the smell is so good that you just, I don't know.
So if you had to pick a time of the year that was your favorite, it would be now.
Yes, even if now it's the worst time for works outside in the vineyard, because you have so much and the vine is just growing every day.
Right.
So you see today it is maybe smaller, and you go tomorrow and it is much
double
bigger.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, but in that you see how life really pushes and to grow,
What's the hardest thing about working outside, about working in the vineyard?
I think a little bit the stress that you want to be done everything good in a proper way, and that it has to be done in a period of time, because you cannot like select the shoots when the vine is flowering. I mean, it's not that good, because you are compromising maybe the flowering, because it's such a delicate period.
Okay.
And you
This
should
I didn't
not
know.
Yes, because so when the flowering is occurring, it is very important that there is no rain and that there are good days. So this week we hope it will be okay, but it is better if it's not raining and the flowering just starts and ends with good weather,
right?
So that then everything is okay for her,
all right,
for the vine,
pollinated and
exactly,
and fertilized.
Yes. So you have to really work in a certain periods to do it the best you can, and that is the most stressful time, because we also have a lot of like old vineyard. So some of them, when the vine is growing, the shoots are growing, they become taller and taller by the day. You have to put them inside the wires. And because we have old vineyard, we have to do it that manually. So you have to put it inside the wires and close it so that it grows
vertically.
Vertically, yes. And then you still have to select the shoots. So that is a little bit like, how do we gonna do it? But then every year you do it. So, but it is just a little bit stressful on that. But
so it's a lot of work to do in a little bit of time.
Yes. Also because, like I said before, it's me and my dad. So my dad is the one who actually do all the spraying, to protect the vines.
He's riding the tractor.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's the tractor. I'm the only thing that I can do, but it's not my cup of tea, if I can say, because I'm a little bit scared, with all the
hills,
yes,
and the slopes and all
yes.
that. So, it's dangerous.
It is, yes. And he became a tractorist when he was 11. So because he was a boy, and my grandfather was just go, and
go play on the tractor.
Yeah, just go. And so it's not like today that you cannot do that, because it's a child and you cannot put a child on a tractor.
Yeah, exactly.
But back in the days, it was a little bit easier. So my father just went there and he started. So he has more than 40 years of experience, and he knows very well all the vineyards and how to do it. But I don't have that, so.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
I can see the anxiety.
Yeah,
just in your
feel
posture.
It.
Yeah, you're just like, I really don't want to drive that tractor.
No.
But anyway,
No.
so I guess he'll do it as long as he possibly can.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so, yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, he's just going to come to you one day and he's going to, guess what? It's your job now.
No, I hope not. No. I will have to find someone.
Yeah, really? So you really don't want to do that?
No, also because I have also other things in the winery, to do. So, I'm the one more responsible on the market, and he's not.
Okay.
So if I leave that part, then
who does it?
Who does? Yeah.
Have you traveled a lot?
No, but I'm starting now.
Okay.
So
obviously you had to live through COVID, so nobody was traveling.
Yes. And actually in 2020 it was the year when I started working
abroad.
No, I started working in the cellar. Like in the winery properly. Like I started doing everything, not just in the summer, but I was working
full time.
Yeah, full time. Yeah. After I graduated, I started working with my family. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you studied enology?
Yes, I did the 3 years university in Udine.
Okay.
Yeah, viticultura e enologia, viticulture and enology.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to go a little bit away, to do more experience. But then COVID came, and then I just started working at home, which was also pretty nice because I started my Instagram page, which made me connected to a lot of people around Italy, a lot of friends.
Very cool.
Yes, that I'm still now in contact. Mm-hmm. So that was very nice, and I discovered how much I like photography, capturing the moments of like flowering.
Do I follow your Instagram page? I'm going to check as soon as possible.
Maybe, yes.
I would think, yes.
I think so, yeah.
If not, I'll do it right away.
Yeah.
So this is your personal Instagram page?
No, it's the personal, it's the winery page.
Oh, okay.
So I'm putting a lot more effort in that page than on my personal one because I cannot do both very well.
Yeah.
But I prefer on the the winery page that is because in COVID time that was something that I did not realize until COVID came, that maybe people who live in Milan or Rome they didn't have what we had. The vineyards and the green part, and they were just closing these very small apartments and they couldn't go out. So for them, when they visited me in summer or next year, they say that for them was also interesting to see how for us life was stopped, but for the vine, it just went on.
Of
like
course.
Nothing was happening. And so for them, that was very interesting also to learn maybe a little bit about a cycle of a vineyard, of a vine, sorry.
Yeah.
So that is all.
We all had so much time back then.
Yeah.
So either you started baking bread.
Yeah. Or pizza.
Or pizza, exactly.
Yeah.
Or just cooking in general, which is what I did.
Yeah.
But you spend a lot more time on social media and to see the outdoors when you were trapped in a small apartment in a city. I always felt really bad for people in New York who were stuck in little tiny apartments with no outside area, no terrace. It was a cool service that you did to people to give them at least a little sense of being connected to the outside.
Yeah.
And you enjoy doing that?
Yes, I actually do now. I don't have so much time, to also think of what I want to tell people, but I always try, when there are some, cool lights or there is special something that I see in the vineyards, I try to catch it and then posted it. And I think was maybe the summer of 2020 or 21 when the two of us met.
Maybe.
Because we met at a tasting, with Nicolas.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
He's always the one who connects people. So I think that was the time when we...
Was it 21? Yeah, probably. Or 22.
I don't remember. It was... Yeah, I'm not sure.
So what are things looking like this year? We've had a lot of rain, but that's kind of become normal in May here.
Yeah.
So what are things looking like for you for this vintage, apart from rain on and off?
So the vintage would be kind of good, but we had a bad frost. I think was the end of April. And that damaged like one vineyard pretty bad. And half of a vineyard of Sauvignon was a little bit damaged. But now it's okay. It's starting. Life has started again. This is the thing I said before, that we have to learn from nature.
Will there still be a little bit of production in those vineyards?
I think so, yes. Not as usual, but something we will harvest. The most important is that we would have the wood for next year to do the Guyot.
Okay.
So that was the most important. But for now, the vintage seems quite good. Also
not as much Peronospora as last year.
For now, I was walking today in some vineyards. I did not see anything, fortunately.
Okay.
We will see maybe next week if my dad was good with the spraying. But for now, it seems okay.
Okay.
So that's good sign, for the leaves and...
Because I remember last year at this time, Peronospora was out of control.
Yeah. But we never had so much problems, I think, because we have so much plots, that on that way, there are some areas maybe where Peronospora will hit harder, but we never had so much problems.
Is it because the vineyards are sort of isolated from one another, so it can't spread from vineyard to vineyard, or?
Yes, we are surrounded also by of my neighbor vineyards, so maybe that also helps sometimes that they are spraying and something will cover also your vineyard. But I don't know, we never had that big problems with Peronospora, so that's good. And I also saw that there is not so much grapes on the vines. So if now flowering, it depends how it will go, how it will finish. But for what I can see in some Pinot Grigio vineyards, there are no problem with the flowering. It already finished. And it went well.
Went well.
Yeah,
okay, so fingers crossed. So not too much quantity, but could be some good quality.
Yes, I hope so. For what I can see, yes. There are obviously some vineyards like Ribolla Gialla who produces a lot. Like 4 grapes on one shoot.
Okay.
So that's a lot of quantities, and that's one work that we almost every year do. No, not almost. We do it every year on the Ribolla. We do the green harvest, so we take some grapes away.
When do you do that?
Usually when around mid-July, or maybe at the beginning of July, depends a little bit on the year.
Okay.
So this year we are a little bit 2 weeks in advance.
2 weeks early.
Yeah, 2 weeks early. So I think it will be at the end of June, beginning of July, depends a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Describe a little bit for me, because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who don't know a little bit San Floriano.
Yeah.
What kind of place it is.
Yeah.
I've been there,
Yeah.
but I want to hear from you, who's a resident, how you would describe this area.
Well, it's my home, so of course it's the most beautiful village, and it is a very small one. I think we are maybe 800 people there, and we know each other pretty well. So, because some families have been living there for a lot of time. So, the grandfather, the cousin, the uncles and aunts. So by that, it is very nice because you know all of your neighbors, and maybe with some of them you practically grew up with them.
Okay.
So that's very nice. And I love it because we have a lot of forest surrounding the vineyards, which is a good side because you have some very nice spots to go there and maybe just walk.
Mm-hmm.
The bad thing is, how I said before, is that we have animals. But, you work with nature, so you have to have good and bad side on everything. And we are an area which is in the DOC Collio.
Okay.
And it is very near Oslavie, which is the other village nearby. And then if you go to Udine, you have Cormons and Capriva, and then you go on with Dolegnas.
So what's special about wine from San Floriano? Is there something that's different about San Floriano than the rest of Collio?
So I would say this about the forests, how much we have, how much biodiversity we have. I've never seen anywhere else so much forest that has not been, cut off to make vineyards. So I would say that. And we have, of course, as everyone, we have different expositions.
Okay.
So, and we have the upper part, maybe who has more sun, so near the church, and then the down part, maybe that does not have so much sun. So this is a little bit. And yes, another thing that I not told you before, but Steverjan, it's actually one of the maybe 4 villages that we speak Slovenian and then we speak Italian.
Okay.
Between us, no? So that is also, it's not about wine, but it's just about culture. That maybe that is something that people don't know. And regarding your question about vineyards and wines, I would say about forests, and we have this soil that maybe a lot of people know or don't, that it's called ponca.
Right.
So we have this marl and sandstone, which is called ponca. And yes, there are some parts also in our vineyards in some plots, where we have more marl or more sandstone.
Okay.
It depends where you are located, no?
Okay.
So near our cellar, I would say that we have more marl. And if you go more on the north part, you have more sandstone.
Okay. Is there particular varieties that do better on one than on the other? Or is everything usually sort of mixed?
It is more mixed. It is more mixed, yes.
So you don't say, okay, this plot here, we're going to just put Ribolla Gialla because...
No, yes, we do that. So mostly on the highest part of our plots, we put Ribolla Gialla because the Ribolla vines need more sun, and sun to have it mostly all day. Okay. So because of the maturation, the Ribolla has a very thick skin, so it's important that it is very well matured when you are handpicking. And so yes, we have some upper parts where we put Ribolla Gialla, and the down parts where we put, for example, Pinot Grigio or Sauvignon.
Okay. So where it's a little bit cooler.
Yes. Another example on one vineyard of Sauvignon, which is not made in like a typical way or how we are making vineyards, because in San Floriano and all in the Collio, you do it on terraces, Right. Here we do it vertically.
Okay.
So we went like vertically down. And so the down part, it is more sandstone, and the upper part is more marl.
Okay.
So we also put different clones to help.
So you're mostly white wines. I only heard you mention one red variety, Merlot.
Yeah, Merlot, yeah.
Okay, and all the rest are white. So is everything monovarietal?
Yes. So in the vineyards, yes. Actually, not really. We have one vineyard very attached to the cellar. Because when we were planting it, my grandfather, he was still alive, but he was diagnosed with Alzheimer and dementia.
Oh, no.
So when he was planting it, he did not understand that we had to do the upper part Ribolla and the down part Pinot Grigio.
Oh.
So that vineyard, it's all mixed up.
Really?
Yes, it is very interesting. When you will come to my cellar, you will see. And now it's the perfect time to see, because the leaves of Ribolla Gialla, it is more... on the yellow part, so it's more like a light green, and the Pinot Grigio is more a dark green.
And they're all mixed together.
And they are mixed, and you can see. So it is not a problem, but you can clearly see that Ribolla Gialla, it is best done when it's upper, on the upside, and the Pinot Grigio is better if it's done more on the a little bit down part.
So do you pass through that vineyard and just collect?
Yeah, first
The
Ribolla.
Ribolla? Okay.
No, first Pinot Grigio and then Ribolla.
So you don't sort of pick up everything
Oh,
and
no,
then
no,
mix it
no.
together?
No,
Okay.
because with the Pinot Grigio, you start harvesting around, how can I say, in the first week of September.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ribolla, it's usually the last week of September.
Okay.
So you have 3 weeks passing by.
A lot of time.
Yeah, and because otherwise Ribolla, it's not very mature, and you can extract the green part, and then in the wine you can feel that. And
Do you make any blended wines, or is everything single grape wines that go into the bottle?
no, we have one blend that it's
Okay.
called Vino degli Orti, and usually the base of that wine it's Pinot Bianco or Pinot Grigio. Usually
Okay.
it's one of those two, and then we put Friulano or Sauvignon.
Mm-hmm.
So this is mainly it is Pinot Grigio and Pinot Bianco, and a tiny part of Friulano or Sauvignon.
Oh, okay.
It depends a little bit on the vintage and how me and my dad want to present the wine, if more maybe on the aromatic style or more on the minerals style.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is because before you mentioned Oslavia being sort
Yes.
of right next door.
Yes.
Do you guys do sort of macerated style orange wines, or are you more sort of the fresh, typical Collio stainless steel, super clean style?
Yeah, we do more on the, if I can use the word traditional way. We do a little bit of cold skin maceration, but we don't do the fermentation on the skin.
Okay.
They do it for a longer time. So we usually leave the skin in contact with one another for about 24-hour maximum for
Okay.
Ribolla. And then we press it, and then it goes in the stainless steel, and then we do the fermentation.
Okay.
So it's not in contact with the skin. And this is how they do it, but we do not do
So
it.
you would call this a little bit more traditional style, or
Yeah,
I don't know. It's hard because
it is hard. Yes, I
because
don't know.
now that's almost become traditional.
Yeah.
And more modern is more to sort of orange.
Yes.
But orange obviously is an older
Yeah.
method of
Yeah.
making
So
wine. So
I don't know. I would say, yeah, maybe as you said it before, it is better to say that the more fresh way.
more modern. I don't know.
Yeah.
Conventional. I don't. It's,
I don't know.
There's no way that you
Maybe-
can sort of say that.
Maybe we can use in the 80s, 90s.
Okay.
Or maybe even not, because they used the concrete tanks back then. So I don't know.
So even then, yeah, it's hard.
We
to,
do it the stainless
steel
stainless
style.
steel, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the wine that we are tasting today,
Yes.
Planta, this is our Chardonnay, and it's a special Chardonnay because it comes from just one single vineyard, and it is made in the oak.
Okay.
So yeah,
Is it fermented in oak?
halfly yes.
Half. Okay.
Yes, we start the fermentation in the stainless steel, and then halfway we transfer it to the oak.
Is this your only wine that you make in wood?
For this vintage, yes. In some vintages, we do also the Pinot Grigio.
In wood.
In wood, yes.
Interesting.
Yes, it's called Dar. So the 2021 was in the wood, and 2022 I decided to do half and half. So
Okay.
half wood and half steel. And I very much like the results. So maybe next time we will taste that.
Oh,
But
I look forward to that.
it's still doing the evolution in the bottle, because we do at least 6-7 months in the bottle, and then we release it on the market.
Okay.
Yeah. So today I brought you here to 2020.
Can I have a
but,
little bit more?
Of course. Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I love this wine because it's Chardonnay done in wood, but it's
Yeah.
very fresh, very elegant.
Thank you.
It's not all vanilla and butterscotch. It has a lot of acidity to it. I remember the first time I tasted it, there was lots of,
Yeah.
lots of acidity and brightness and freshness, but you get the power of Chardonnay here as well. So,
Yeah.
and minerally, very nice, very well done. Thank you. This is the second really good Chardonnay, and I'm not a Chardonnay drinker.
Oh, really?
that I've
I
had,
didn't know.
No. I'm open to everything, but I'm not even that well known for my love for Ribolla Gialla. I have to
Okay.
say,
Yeah,
even though that's
I
like
remember.
sacrilege, right?
Yeah.
But normally I go more towards Malvasia or Friulano, but
Okay.
this is the second one I've tasted in the last 4 or 5 days that I've been like, wow, that really, really good Chardonnay being done that exceeds my expectations, which is always nice.
Yeah.
To expect, okay, Chardonnay, and then you go, oh wow, I actually like this. This is really good. So compliments.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Chardonnay, as I mentioned it before, it was one of the first grape variety that my dad bottled in 1993.
Okay.
And he always was inspired by Burgundy style. So, they use oak, but we use mostly used oak. So this is why you don't feel so much oak and vanilla in this wine. We use just a 30% of...
And it's barriques?
Yes, barriques, 225 liters. It stays there for about 9 months. In 2020, I remember I was doing a lot of batonnage to open a little bit the wines and to give it a little bit more body,
Okay.
And
so just so for people who might not understand, what are you doing when you do batonnage?
So because we start the fermentation in the still vats, but half fermentation. So after 4 or 5 days, we transfer the wine, which is still fermenting, in the barrels.
Okay.
In the barrique. Then the yeasts that have finished the fermentation, their skin, if I can say like this, remains inside the barrique. Okay. But that skin, it is very, very interesting. It gives the wine some more body and more, some aromas and some structure. But because they are heavier than the wine itself, it goes down to the bottom of the barrel. And what you do, you practically want that the whole mass of wine, all 225 liters are in contact with this lees. You practically have to move them. And how do? You use this stick. You go in and you start moving it.
Basically stirring them up.
Exactly. And when you do that, you practically can see, because first it is darker, because of course the wine is not dark, but you cannot see. And then at some point, after maybe 20 seconds, when you are moving it, you start seeing that this not so clear wine comes up, and then you know that the batonnage has been done. And the more you do it, the more you open the wine, and the more the wine it is ready to be drinking. Maybe it's more lovely in the beginning. So usually we do that till December. We are moving this maybe once every 10 days or once every week. It depends. For us, it's very important to taste the wine, to know how much to do it. No, and then nothing. When the wine, you think it's good with the batonnage, you just stop. And then in the next 6 months, so from January till June, you just stop the wine, the barrique with the wine.
Yeah.
Because
you don't want space.
Exactly, yes. And because the barrique, it's an alive material, if I can say, it takes the wine and you have to fill it with other wine, because otherwise the oxidation process will start, and that's not very good.
No, you want to avoid that.
Yeah. And then the planta, it stays for about 1.5 years in the bottle.
Okay.
And then we present it to the market.
So you mentioned even before, this is 1.5 years in the bottle. You said a lot of your wines do some extra time sort of maturing in the bottle.
Yes, we try at least 6 months, 7 months. Some wines, especially the Planta and the Dar, which is the Pinot Grigio, at least 1.5 years, and the others 7 months. It would be good, but even 9 months, it is good. And our wines, I think now that we are tasting in 2020, on the 4th to the 6th year of the life of the wine, it is best to be drink. I think it expresses themselves very, very well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So many people think that, white wine should be consumed young.
No, I mean, it depends how you are working, I think. But our work in the vineyards and how we work in the cellar, it is, and because of our territory, I mean, we have exceptional land and climate, and we can do wines that can be aged in times. I mean, you remember the Ribolla that you brought to us for my tasting, and it was 2007, so it was 17 years.
Exactly.
And it was perfectly fine wine. And you see that we can do wines that can be aged well. So if you work properly in the vineyard and in the cellar, and then you just wait a little bit,
A little bit of patience.
Exactly. Then you can drink very interesting wines. Yeah.
So we haven't talked much about Merlot, the only red wine you make.
Yeah. So we make Merlot just because we have two very interesting plots, and they are in very good position in my village, Steverjan. So one is just above the cellar.
Okay.
And that part, it's always ventilated. So there is always wind, especially in summer. And for the Merlot, it is important that it dries very well.
Oh, this I didn't know.
So we think and we saw that when it is a little bit drier, so not completely, I'm not saying that, but that it is sun all day and there is wind, all the water goes away and then it's very concentrated. And when then you do the maceration, because with the Merlot, we do the maceration and the fermentation,
Okay.
When you have these good plots, we decided to make Merlot.
Okay.
We have one there near the cellar and one that it's 200 meters from the cellar. And they're both very ventilated. They have the sun all day. And the vines actually have more than 50 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So they are old clones of Merlot that we actually don't know where they come actually, because my grandfather, he did not remember. Of course, back in the days, they did not have, the
700 different clones.
Exactly.
That they have now.
This is why we also we have just that red varieties, because in Steverjan, San Floriano, it is best maybe for white wines.
It's windier by you, isn't it?
Yes, it depends where
More
you are.
Bora.
Yeah, because we live just under the Sabatin, so the mountain, and we have a little bit more wind. But I don't know, all of my neighbors also, we produce maybe just one or two varieties of red, but just because you have the good plots.
Okay.
And all of us, we are planting the more white varieties.
Do you have a favorite white variety? Or is it like choosing a child?
No, actually. So if I'm talking about the vines,
Okay.
yeah.
Good. I like the differentiation, the vines or the wines. Let's talk about the vines.
Yeah, about the vines, I very much like the Chardonnay vine because it is so easy to manage. It is so beautiful, like really, really nice vines, with this green, very powerful green color.
Okay.
And it doesn't have much problems, with the nutritions and with the growth. And it's just very, very nice to see how the vineyard is looking. But also I think the Ribolla Gialla, it is a very nice vineyard. It is more like light green. Okay. And it needs a little bit more work on it because you have to choose, the grapes. No, like I said before, the green harvest, you have to do it that very well.
And you don't have to do that with Chardonnay.
We do it also with Chardonnay.
Okay.
But because on Chardonnay we have much older vineyard, it produces less.
Ah, okay.
So we don't have to do that much on how we do it on Ribolla. Ribolla is just, she's producing a lot.
Super vigorous,
exactly.
Lots and lots of grapes.
But during harvest period, I think it is very beautiful to see the very strong yellow color on the Ribolla. So that is also very, very nice. And these big grapes, and they're like gold. Okay. And this is very, very nice to see. But also, I think also Pinot Grigio and Merlot, they are very nice because they have these different colors. Pinot Grigio has this purple color and Merlot has this very dark color. So it's all very, very nice. This is for the vines. So you see that I actually did not choose.
No, you named 3 of the 7 that you have, basically.
Yeah.
But still.
Regarding the wines, I don't know. I think properly to choose, I don't know, because I like to drink wine. Like today with you, I really wanted to drink Chardonnay because I thought that you would appreciate a good Chardonnay.
I do appreciate a good Chardonnay.
Okay, good. But if you are, I don't know, drinking like an aperitivo, a Ribolla or Friulano, it is very nice, or even a good Pinot Grigio, I think. But when you are, I don't know, cooking or doing some experiment in the kitchen, I think you can do so much, and you can just open a lot of bottles and see what is best with the food and try something new. So I would say, I don't know, maybe Ribolla or Pinot Grigio or Chardonnay, all of them.
Or.
Exactly, yeah. No, I think...
Is there a sort of a meal or a dish that you sort of always, whenever you make that dish or whenever you have that wine, you look forward to having that dish with it because for you it's just such a good pairing or just so emotionally important for you to have those two things together? Is there something that is personal to you as far as food and wine is concerned?
So, my grandmother, she's from Slovenia. And she always makes polenta for us in the winter time. And I don't know, we always, even if it comes with meat, we always like to drink it with Ribolla. So I think because of our origins. And so when we, with my cousins and family, we always drink Ribolla when we are eating polenta.
Interesting.
It is discussable, the pairings, but
well, it's what makes you happy.
Yes,
I always try to impress that upon people that don't necessarily need to follow rules about pairing. Just if you want to drink Ribolla or with polenta, or if you want to drink Merlot with oysters, it's just
it's up to you.
Go with whatever makes you happy.
You know why? Because my grandmother starts making polenta when it is about November, when she opens the stove, because she has like a Slovenian stove with fire in it, and you put like a special, it's not plate, but something similar, and you cook polenta inside. Okay.
Yeah.
And in November, once, this was because of my grandfather, in November, they already start drinking the wines that they produced in October. So, and his favorite was always Ribolla. So I think that was maybe, brought with us. And this is why we are drinking Ribolla with polenta.
Are you still drinking the new Ribolla with
the
polenta?
No, we are drinking. No, we're going back a year. Exactly. Okay. Yes.
I can imagine sort of the scene, the winter scene with polenta and warming up, but still, pulling out the Ribolla, maybe it's still a little bit cloudy.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
fresh. And then you're sort of, drinking this new wine, and you're kind of looking back over the last harvest and how things went. So it's very nice. We've talked about this a couple of times, and I wanted to sort of touch on it, even though we're going a little bit long, but that's fine. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
The idea of sort of being Slovenian and speaking Slovenian over the border in Italy, is what is that like for you? Was that difficult for you? Or does that sort of connect you really close to your neighbors because you all speak the same language? Or tell me a little bit about that kind of cultural world that you live in.
So for me, it was always natural. I've never saw a problem in that or something that it's something negative about. We were always, I don't know, Slovenian is such a beautiful language, even if it's very different from English language or Italian language.
It's a very difficult language
as well. It is a Slavic language, so it has a different words, different conjunctions and everything. So it is different, but it's something that we always spoke within our family, and it's something that enriches us also. And it's something, that connects you to another state, because you understand another state, you understand their traditions and their songs, and because Slovenian people sing a lot.
Okay. Well, that's something you have in common with Italians.
Yes.
The Italians do like their singing.
Yes, and so does Slovenian, more on the church side, They sing a lot of, how can I say, faith song? Faith song?
Yeah. Religious songs.
Religious, yes, thank you.
Hymns, we would call them in English, yes.
Yes. So that is something that connects you with another country, and it gives you that you are part also of another country. But because we speak also Italian, we are connected also to Italian culture and food and wine and everything. So this is something very beautiful because you can be connected with both words.
Okay.
And I cannot choose which one because this is something that all, I think, people that live in the border, they cannot choose because you always had both parts
Okay.
within you. And you cannot choose. You just see the beauty in both of the words and you take the good things of both of the words.
Right. And that was also an area that was very hard hit during the wars, along with Oslavia, because I know both of those places were very much devastated by
very much, yes. This is why my family, so we always lived in Steverjan, but we lived in a different area. And then after the war, because our house was damaged by the bombs, we live now where we are living today. So, and back in the days, I remember there was not so good blood, with Slovenian and Italian because of the war, and fascism and all of that. But nowadays, I don't see that a problem, and actually people are looking to learn another language because you have a more open mind. And you understand in a much easier way other languages. And
growing up bilingual, sort of sets up your brain for being open to languages, which is why you learned English so well watching TV.
Yes. No, but I think nowadays learning English, it is very easy because you have so much access on everything. I mean, if you really want, you start watching TVs and you read a lot and all of that, as we said before, and or maybe you can just take the plane and go to America or England, and you have this opportunity to go and see.
Of the places that you've traveled, do you have any favorite places where you've been? I know it hasn't been very long that you've been traveling, but is there some place that really hit you? You don't have to say New York just because you're with me.
No, I've never been to America.
You've never been to, you've never been to America?
No, not yet. I have to go. They are calling me. I have to go there.
You should. You have to go,
Yeah, I will. But no, one of my favorite cities is Napoli. Yes.
Why? That's interesting. Girl from San Floriano loves Naples.
Yes.
Is it the pizza?
No, it's because of the people. I will tell you now a story. Because on my second year during university, you have to do an internship somewhere else. You can do it in your region, or you can go wherever you want. I decided to go in the south of Italy into this family that they are called Moio. It's their surname, and they are the winery called Quinto Decimo. And I went there. They are in the Avellino province, in Mirabella e Clano, just under the Apennines.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've been living with them for 1 month and a half when I was doing my internship. I was living with them and working with them. And it was actually, for me, very scary to go from north to south,
Okay.
But I really wanted to go somewhere else, that it wasn't Friuli. I wanted to learn from other people. I wanted to learn something else that it wasn't from here. And so I decided to go to them. And they were very, very kind. They were they become like my second family. I call them my second family. And the wife of the owner, because they are a family, of course, like my family, she's from Naples. So whenever we had the chance, we went to Naples. And she showed me the beauty of Naples. And they have a saying that they say that when you go to Napoli, you cry 2 times. Once when you go there and once when you leave it.
Of course.
And that is exactly what happened to me, because I was crying a lot when I had to leave my home. I remember in 2017, I was just like, no, I don't want to go. Why did I choose to go so far away? I didn't know them.
And how old were you?
I was 21.
Okay.
Yeah, I know I was old, but still I was like, I don't want to leave my land. I don't want to leave the people that they are here and go into a completely different culture. But then when I arrived there, I immediately fall in love with them, with the grape varieties in their culture and everything. And Naples just came inside my heart and never left. And when I went away, I had to come home because the university was starting the third year. I remember I cried when I
you
went
left.
back. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so you proved the rule
Yeah.
about Naples.
Yeah. I remember when I saw it, I was just like, okay, but it is very nice. And when I left it, I was just like, no, I'm leaving a part of my heart here. So yeah, I really miss them, and I hope I would see them again.
I hope you get back down there soon.
Yeah.
So I always ask this sort of the same question, and Paolo Rodaro taught me to ask this question of all my. So I always ask, I say, so what is your sogno nel cassetto? What is your secret little dream that you keep hidden? Is there anything that you want to share? It could be about the winery, it could be personal, but
yeah. So my dream is actually to do what I'm doing now for the next 50 years.
Okay.
I would say. So I would very much like to continue the work that I'm doing in the way that I'm doing now, with my family, with my own family one day. So that would be, I think, something that I really wish for. That I want to continue my heritage, if I can say. With what was given to me, I want to give it on. And I want to still work with nature and preserve nature as it is, and still continue to make very good wine, that it is well known, not just my wine, but also my region and my land, our culture to the rest of the world, because I think not a lot of people know this tiny part of the world. So for me, it's very important that they know, and when they come here, they see our beauty. And for me, it's very important that I can do that with my friends and family and loved ones. So that would be my wish.
So you're living your dream.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm working very hard on it, because you have bad days and good days. And when the bad days, they come, obviously, you have to just remember, okay, but this is what I want to do. I really love my job. I love the struggle. I love the beauty of it, and you have to just go on and try to do the best you can.
Is there some kind of wine you would like to make sometime in the future, once you start sort of becoming more in control of what's going on? I would really love to make a fill in the blank.
Yeah, I would like to go on with the style that my father started. I really like the style of our wines. I would like to, though, that there would be even more, that people would say, okay, when I'm drinking Tercic, I'm drinking this part of the world, our land, and something that it is unique of here. So everything on that. And I really believe in the local varieties, such as Ribolla and Friulano.
Okay.
So I would like to make them even better, more recognizable. But also the varieties like Chardonnay, Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio, and Sauvignon, that they would be, that they would know that those Chardonnay, Sauvignon, and Pinot Grigio, that they are coming from our land, from Friuli, more precisely Collio. So, this is what we are working with my dad, and I'm studying and, learning even better your vineyards. I think if you learn and you study the land, the soil, the climate, how everything is changing, because this is what I'm seeing in the last 10 years that I'm working, is that every vintage, it is different. And you have to, have a lot of knowledge to know how to move then, and how to do, okay, like this year there was hail, how can I do to make the wine good, even if the grapes are not the best.
Okay.
So the more you know, the more you study, the more you talk also with your neighbors, and which, we have friends together that we always try to help each other. So that is the most important part, I think, to talk and to communicate.
So the wine community is pretty tight-knit in San Floriano.
Yes, not just in San Floriano, but also, we have friends in Capriva and Cormons and all over all the parts of Friuli.
So maybe this is the attitude that I was waiting for. When I first came here, I always thought like, oh, it's going to be the next generation that starts to sort of work together. But that didn't quite come about. There was still kind of the kind of closed, protective attitude towards, okay, I have my little slice of pie and I want to keep that little slice and I don't want to. But now I think it's that next generation they're starting to, and that would be you, who's starting to sort of say, no, we have to work together.
Yeah, but we are doing that, just by coming all together and tasting the wines and saying, okay, but what are we doing? What is our goal? I think we are doing that. We are slow, of course, because it's not something that you can do in 1 year or 2 years.
Course.
And they are always like our fathers and families, they are behind us. So you cannot do that as quickly as you want. But for me, it is important that you are talking and that, if you have problems, how did you overcome that problems, even on the markets,
Yeah.
An example with Nicola, when we were coming back from Bergamo, we were talking a lot about that. So how can we improve what we should do? How can we help each other? And not just with Nicola, but I have other friends also, girlfriends, that we talk and we try to help each other. And that is important to, if you make a team, then it is easier. It's not like, because I don't want to share that with you, then okay, I will be stronger. I don't know. I don't think that it's the case nowadays. I don't think no one thinks in that way anymore.
That's good.
And you see when we are doing the tasting together that we were sharing everything. It's not like we are keeping secrets,
It's true.
Yeah.
True. Cool. Anna, thank you very, very much.
Thank you,
for
Wayne.
spending some time here with me.
Thank you.
And thank you for bringing this Chardonnay Planta.
Thank you.
To taste together.
Thank
very,
you.
very good compliments. And I will come and visit you up in San Floriano
I will
very
be
soon.
waiting for you. If you come in the next 2 weeks, we will still have some cherry.
Okay.
Yeah. So cherries. And if you come afterwards, we will have some apricots. So
I hate apricots.
Oh no. Well, okay. Then.
Cherries I love, but I'm not a big apricot fan.
Okay, so I will give you wine.
Peaches and apricots, no, not for
no,
me.
not you. Okay.
But anyway, so I'll try and make it up for the cherries.
Okay, perfect. I will be waiting.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you, Wayne.